everybody. Thanks for coming to Memory Care with Teresa Youngstrom. We've got a great program for you. And like me, who was searching for help years ago, you're probably searching for some answers. What do you do when someone is screaming at you or you're running into them emotionally or maybe even physically? That kind of thing happens when we're dealing with someone who has a broken brain. I was dealing with that with my mom years ago, and I needed help. Um, I came in one day and said, "Hey, Mama, it's me, Teresa." She was sitting in her wheelchair in her living room, and she said, "Nobody does a blankety blank thing in this house." And I thought, oh, this is not going to be good. Okay, let's stop right there. I could do a knee jerk reaction, and depending on your personality, may determine how this goes, or depending on how much training you've had. So I'm glad you're here because you're going to learn some techniques on how to deal with this in a much better way, more effective way. So let's back up a little bit further because back a little bit further is when the wheels really fell off. I had seen this coming for a couple of years. You're watching the symptoms and you're kind of like, "Oh, Dad, it looks like Mom might be having, oh, I think she's fine." He didn't want her to be sick. He's a fabulous man. He just didn't want her to be sick. But one day there was this run in and she said, "Blankety blank, you get out of my blankety blank house." And I was like, "Oh no." And I cried and I left and I apologized. The wheels absolutely fell off. And again, depending on your personality, you may have reacted differently. I've talked to so many families over the years, and sometimes that is an absolute deal breaker. Fine, I'm out of here. You don't need me? Great, I'm out of here. Okay, that is no way to react when you're dealing with someone with a broken brain. But I determined right then I was going to figure this thing out. You know what? There had to be someone who knew more than I did. I had been a nurse for 30 years at that point. My goodness. And I was scouring the internet. I'd been working in private duty. I had so much nursing experience. I really thought I should be able to understand this. My goodness, you just be nice to them, right? Wrong. I was completely wrong. So I had sought out Teepa Snow. She was the only one I had found back in the I don't know, it was probably 2012, 13. She was the only one I found whose techniques were working when I applied them to my mom's situation. So I knew she was in North Carolina back then. I knew I was going to have to quit my job and go see her and train with her and figure this out. And I did. My mom was worth it, and I needed to know. I needed to figure it out. The good news is you don't have to quit your job and go to North Carolina now. We're right here. So dig in, get a piece of paper out, and let's listen to some techniques on how you can learn more about how to care for someone who's suffering from brain change. Listen, they're doing the best they can with what they have left. And you are either being part of the solution or you're being part of the problem. Are you going to take the time to figure this out? Or are you going to turn tail and run? I have family members who turn tail and run. Some just cry. They don't know what to do. Okay. But guess what? They need us more now than they've ever needed us. Yes, that's right. One daughter told me, "Hey, she doesn't remember we don't get along." I said, "Great, go with that. How about that? Enjoy this ending relationship with her, okay? Enjoy this season of life with her." And she did. And she did. And it was amazing. So Teepa taught me some really great things about validate their position, de-escalate the energy, and then redirect. As an old nurse, I can tell you we made so many mistakes and we're still making mistakes. And unfortunately, you know what typically is happening right now out there in the world is if these folks go into a community, go into a hospital, unfortunately, they're going to be sedated into submission, which is appalling to me. And I'm going to help work on changing that. And so are my colleagues. Let me tell you, we're going to change that because this is your mama and mine, and this is my dad and your grandpa, and soon to be my husband or me or, you. And we can't let this continue our children's lives. We're not going to let this happen. There are great techniques. Well, we got to figure out what's causing this. And I've got ideas on that, but we don't have time today to talk about all of it. But let's start with some great techniques on how do we come alongside and join them on this journey. It is not rocket science, and you can learn a few techniques. So Tipa said, "You what? You have to join them on the journey." What does that even mean? How do you validate, de-escalate, and then redirect? Because we were always taught just redirect them. Well, guess what? If I'm yelling at you about someone stealing my blankety blank purse and you say, "Oh, yeah, mama, want a cookie? Here, I got a cookie. Have a cookie." No, it's not going to work. And I'm going to kick you out of my blankety blank house. Okay, that doesn't work. Doesn't work. Or if I'm asking you where my husband is and he's already passed, and you say, "Oh, yeah, he's long dead. Don't worry about him. Here, it's time to go to lunch." He's dead. Because you didn't know that maybe you shouldn't bring up things like someone's dead if her brain is already past the point of being able to process that, and we've been through that before. We've crossed that bridge and it causes her much grief and 4 hours of tears and suffering. Well, then maybe he's at work because that's where he always was. Or he's out. We had one woman, if you'd say, "Oh, checking that corn takes forever to get done." He was a farmer. He was always out in the cornfield. And you'd say, "He's checking the corn." Checking the corn. And she'd say, "That man is always checking the corn." You're like, "I know." And she'd love that. And then you'd redirect it to, "Hey, can I help make those brownies? Or can I help make, the sweet potatoes? How about we do that instead?" And so we have to figure out some better techniques on how to validate their position first. What's that even mean? Maybe it means allowing them to be right even when they're wrong. What? Well, I'm sorry if that ticks you off, but guess what? This is how we're going to work with a broken brain, because in their mind, they don't have capacity to process. They don't have logic still, or they would be using it. Now, this is not everybody. The folks that are still able to process, maybe because there's more than 120 diagnoses that give us symptoms of dementia, not everybody is at this point. But the families that call me for help because they're about to strangle somebody or get strangled, or they've been kicked out of the blankety blank house like me, right? They're the ones that we have to come up with some new techniques on how to come alongside and learn how to have a better relationship with this person. Relationship is everything. Ask Teepa, she'll tell you. Watch the podcast we did together. She's amazing. But relationship is everything. So we've got to kindle that relationship, right? Maybe that shower's not that important today. Maybe we work on relationship. But we have to learn how to have better techniques on how to join them on the journey. So validate, let them be right, even if they're wrong. Somebody stole your purse. Are you kidding me? Well, that's not right. That's not right at all, Mama. Think about joining them arm in arm, getting on their team side by side. That's not right. What's that, Dad? Your wallet's missing. Let's find it. Yeah, it's a brown one, right? That brown one, it folds over, the bill fold. Yeah, I got it. You know what? Let's go look for that. Let's go ask the charge nurse. They know where everything is. Yeah. And as you're walking up there, you notice, oh, you know what? It is lunchtime too. You know what? Let's get a bite to eat and we'll keep looking for that wallet, and we'll stop in the nurse's station and we'll tell them too. Do you see how you can allow them to be right? You validate their position, you get on their team, you become part of the detective team, and at the same time, you're de-escalating the energy because you are affirming that you care enough to join them on the journey. You take away their fear. Maybe you have several of those billfolds or gray purses in your car, right? Because they may lose stuff, or stuff does get taken. I would. I would. Learn how to play the game. Just don't fight it, get on board. Or maybe that purse is in the same place she hid it the last time, in the hamper. You'll learn these things. Or my mom hid her teeth. I don't know. We never did find that upper plate. Even after she passed and we cleaned out her bedroom, we never did find them. So, you know, not a perfect world. Not a perfect world. We can only do the best we can. But if you haven't taken the time to learn new techniques, well, you better get into some of my podcasts and learn what's going on, because there are great techniques on how to rekindle your relationship and how to do life with these people. Okay, so we validate their position. We de-escalate the energy. We de-escalate the energy by processing things. Let them know how you're going to join them on the journey and help them get what it is they want. And once you notice the energy's down, that's when you can redirect them physically or emotionally to the next thing. You heard me do it with, oh, you know what? It is lunchtime. Let's go get a bite to eat while we figure out our next plan. Okay, and maybe during lunchtime you run out and get the next wallet out of your car, whatever that looks like. Okay. So let's come back to the very first problem I had when we started. I came in the front door, she's sitting in her wheelchair. We are I just came back from learning about Teepa Snow's techniques. It's fresh. First interaction. First interaction. And she hits me with my, like, "Hey, mama." And I know to approach from the front. Do you know that now? We always approach from the front. And why? Lose peripheral vision. That's right. With dementia, we lose peripheral vision. Think about wearing your scuba mask. That's what they can see. Got your scuba mask on? Okay. That's what you can see. Can you see out here? No way, Jose. Can you see behind you? No. You approach them that way, you're going to startle them, and ooh, you might get socked. Who caused that? We did. All right. So don't do that. Approach from the front. Don't touch them until they have awareness you're there. All right. Position yourself to win. You can do this, you guys. It is not rocket science. Watch your tone. Watch your body language. Your words aren't near as important, but choose your words wisely. I naturally have a calm demeanor. It's just how I am. That gives me a lot of benefit. If that's not how you're wired, take a deep breath before you come in. Leave your problems out on the porch. Okay? We don't come in talking about the bad weather, the wars in the world. We don't come in talking about all the things the kids are getting into right now that aren't good. Okay? We bring joy. We come in with pleasant thoughts. We come in with a smile, okay, and joy in our hearts. And so we come in, we approach from the front with a smile. We introduce ourselves. "Hey, Mama, it's me, Teresa. So great to see you." And she says, "Nobody does a blankety blank thing in this house." She said, "I have had to wash the windows and clean the closets. Nobody does a blankety blank thing in this house." True story. This will be right in my book. And I thought, "Oh, Teepa Snow, what did you tell me to do?" And I said, "Are you kidding me?" So I worked on my validation. "Are you kidding me?" She would say, get your tone and body language to agree with her. And the words, "Are you kidding me, Mama? Well, you shouldn't have to do that kind of work. There are plenty of people around here to help do that kind of stuff. You must be exhausted." And my everything needs to be agreeing with her that she's right. Okay. Can you do it? Can you be a drama queen or king? I love doing that. I love playing along. It comes very naturally at this point. Play along. Do it. It's so worth it. And you know what I noticed? She was so mad that her fists were already in the air, and your person's fists might already be in the air. And see, I get calls like that and people will say they're mean as a snake and you can't do anything with them. And I just want to say, wonder what else is going on. Uh, hmm. And then they'll say, they're using all kinds of cuss words too. And I'll go, because that makes me think emergency words, because usually when they're doing that, they can't use their language skills. They're using emergency words, usually pain, fear, anxiety. What's that? Pain, fear, anxiety. So there are more things going on here than meet the eye. So can you be a good detective and figure this out? Or are you just going to throw your hammer down and ship them off to a place? Call 911, ship them off? I'm not trying to give you any guilt. Just telling you how it works. This is what happens. And maybe we should have brought help in a long time ago. It's possible. A lot of times these folks are further worse off than we recognize because they can fake it a long time. They can be quite cordial when you come in. Um, But you spend an hour or two, or you're talking, the out of town folks, they talk to them on the phone. Hey, mama, how are you? Great. Good. Me too. Yeah. Pretty day. Yeah. Good. Looks good. Dinner good? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All's well. Sure. Thanks, honey. Love you too. Did we really learn anything about what was going on? Nope. Come spend a day with them. You might learn all kinds of good things. Yep. You might notice those tennis shoes in the refrigerator and how long have they been in there? I don't know. You might notice all kinds of things, right? You might notice mistakes that they're making. But it takes that type of observation, and so not from a distance. So frequently that's what happens. It's amazing how after the holidays, how many calls we get and how many calls communities, memory care and places like that get. Private duty. When I worked for private duty, we get lots of calls after the holidays. Families come home and they notice mom and dad are not doing as well as they sounded over the phone for the last 6 months. All right, so back to my interaction with mama. I did the validation. I did the de-escalation. The fists were up. And when I agreed with her, the fist came down. And guess what else she did? She exhaled. I thought, ooh, that's what Tipa said she would do. Oh my gosh, the energy, right? The de-escalation, the energy went down. That's when I knew it was okay to redirect. Mama, we should go in the kitchen and get some iced tea. I thought of something she loves. We should get some iced tea and rest. Yeah, she said. Yeah, yeah. I thought, oh my gosh, I was skipping behind her wheelchair. I couldn't believe it. I had needed these techniques for so long, and it might not work perfect for you the first time, and you might need to try some different things to say, but it's going to be good. It's going to be better than you saying, are you kidding me? Are you accusing me? Are you blaming me that you had to clean the windows? Well, look, I'm not your slave. I don't work here. All right. Are you paying me to clean the window? Oh, you guys, it gets ugly. I've heard everything. Don't do it. Don't do it. These are your parents. These are your loved ones. Okay. I hope you'll call before you're doing this thing. Don't do that. I want you to still have a relationship with them. All right. So we're going to validate. We're going to de-escalate. We're going to redirect. I took her into the kitchen, and then you take them to their happy place. What's that? Yeah. Make a list of the things that bring them joy, even if it's that pink sweater that they've had forever that has holes in it, but brings them joy. Maybe it's pictures of the grandkids in that album. Maybe it is, for my mom, it's pictures of a puppy we had, and the dog was 5 years old, but it didn't matter. She loved those puppy pictures. I tell people she ran the Humane Society when I was a kid, and she saved puppies and dogs and cats all the time, mostly dogs. And I'm telling you, we would have dogs at her house. She'd let them have their puppies. She'd find them all homes, and she'd find the mom of the homes. She even had relationship with the pet store, and she would help them find homes for dogs. I mean, she was just amazing like that. So that brings her joy, and so that's what we would do. Um, that's what I would do to help bring her joy. So you can do this. You just got to figure out how to make the system work for you. Validate, de-escalate, and it took time. Listen, there's not a switch to flip. Once you've got them at this point, it's going to take time. But I can tell you, after a few months, and once we got everybody on board, once we got all the family members to quit, you better be nice. Once we got the caregivers, also do it playing along and recognizing they need approach from the front. And also with my mom, she had that anosognosia, so she didn't know she was sick. You couldn't just say, let me help take you to the bathroom, because she couldn't see her own disease. That's another podcast, right? You can look that up. Season 1, episode 18, maybe. That's probably the first one. There's a couple more I did on anosognosia, but so you would have to ask her to help you do something back in the bedroom in order to get her to go to the bathroom. But your situation's going to be different. But I can tell you that she finally did put her fists down and she experienced a lot of joy in the last several years of her life. And it was wonderful. We allowed her to be right, even when she was wrong. What's that? Who cares? If she thinks it's purple and it's really light blue, who cares? If she thinks it's June and it's really May, who cares? If she thinks the holiday's Memorial Day and it's Veterans Day, who cares? Can you Can you play along and let her be right? If she thinks you are your sister, can you let that be okay? Or what if she thinks you're her sister or her mom? This happens a lot. So daughters who are caregivers frequently become the person's mom. All right. And can you play along with that? I can. Why not? Go ahead. Just roll with it. I suggest you introduce yourself every time you come in. Hey, Mama, it's me, Teresa. And she'd say, I know. But in the end, she was talking about me in third person. She'd say, when Teresa's here. And that's okay. I knew she was doing that. That is fine. We just love her along. That's what we're supposed to do. So, what are we going to do? We need to realize we have to validate their position. We need to de escalate the energy, and then we redirect. Probably one of the most important things I can ever teach you. And so in the beginning for me, I got kicked out of the blankety blank house. I had to go see Teepa Snow. I was determined. I don't want you to turn tail and run. I want you to dig in and figure this out. There's a lot of information here. You can reach out to me if you need to. All right. Um, the website, teresayoungstrom.com. Go there. The podcasts are there. There's lots of stuff there. Reach out to me. You can do a consultation. We can talk more. We can do a Zoom call with your whole family. No change in the cost. For one person on that Zoom call or 14, doesn't matter to me. I'm here to help train you. I want you to have all the best information to make this the best life with your person that you're trying to love through this. Listen, they didn't ask for this. And if it were you, I would help them provide the best life for you. My mom's end of life was great. Honestly, it was. We had great people around her. And we were able to, she didn't know she was sick. And we did the best we could with what she had left. And she had her battery operated cat that she fed her Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop stew, and it was too much or whatever else she might be eating. And you know what? Every situation's different, but we make the best of it. That's all we can do. It will not be perfect, guys. There'll be mistakes made. It will not be perfect. But our job is just to love them along on this journey, on this season. Recognize too, it's a season of life. This isn't forever. This isn't the rest of your life. It's a season. You'll need help. I'm here to help. My name's Teresa Youngstrom. I hope that you will like and I hope you will share and I hope you'll subscribe and I hope you will reach out for a consultation because I'm here to help you. Keep in mind, my motto is, you've got this.